The 2017 Acura RLX. Now, for anybody who remembers, there was a time when Acura built something called the Legend, and yes, it really was a legend, as in a legendary sports sedan, but today, its successor, the RLX, is not quite like it should be. I'm Jay, and welcome to this latest episode of Car Buzz Unboxing Reviews, and yes, today this is the latest version of the Acura RLX. Now, the RLX here, it was first launched back in 2013. It is the successor to what, in my opinion, was the pretty lame Acura RL, which itself was the successor to the much beloved Acura Legend. And I really want to ask Acura, like, what has happened to you? What has happened since the days of the Legend, when that car was just, it was just so kick-ass. It was built extremely well. It was a rock. You still see some of them on the road today. It was fun to drive. It looked good. The RL, which some people believe it stood for Refined Legend, perhaps not, perhaps maybe, I don't know, was very, very conservative, and it was not a worthy successor. And the RLX, I think it falls somewhere in between the two. It's good in some ways and not good in other ways. But for now, let's start up the engine. Okay, so that was the sound of the 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 with 310 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. Power sent to the front wheels through a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Hooray, no CVT. Thank you, Acura, for that. There's also an electric motor providing another 147 horsepower and 109 pound-feet of torque for a combined total of 377 horsepower and 377 pound-feet of torque. So this model is not the base model with 3.5 liter V6 as well. This is the RLX Sport Hybrid with a super handling all-wheel drive. And it uses a modified version of that base 310 horsepower 3.5 liter V6 engine, which is found, again, like I said, in the standard front-wheel drive RLX. And joining the engine in powering the front wheels is a 47 horsepower electric motor located in the transmission housing. There are two additional 36 horsepower motors mounted side by side between the rear wheels that operate independently of each other to create what Acura claims to be a sporty and agile torque vectoring in turns, which, yes, it is good in turns. The super handling all-wheel drive system is outstanding. It is not quite a duplicate of the system found in the brand new Acura NSX. It's similar, but not 100% identical here. But I will say that the RLX you see here, the Sport Hybrid with the super handling all-wheel drive, it is my preferred choice over the base model with the front-wheel drive. I just think that car, I actually haven't driven it, but I can't imagine it having a whole lot of personality, because even with the super handling all-wheel drive, this is not a sport sedan. And I'll get to how it drives later on, but I want to be clear about that. This is not very sporty. This exterior here, it's painted what Acura just calls crystal black pearl. It's got these 19-inch wheels. It's got power moonroof. What I do kind of like, and some people don't, I can get that. You'll see at the front end, those what they call the dual eye LED headlights. Kind of like that dual layer headlights going on there. It's definitely a unique look. Very jewelry-like type of deal. Like I said, I like it. I think it's one of the car's best exterior design traits, because in the one way Acura has taken sort of a design chance, and I think it works pretty well. But what I don't like is that chrome mustache with the Acura emblem. I don't know, it just doesn't look good, but fortunately Acura is moving away from that design language. Here's that engine here. Performance, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.3 seconds. Top speed, about 130 miles per hour. Fuel economy, 20 miles per gallon in the city, 32 on the highway, and a combined 30 miles per gallon. The super handling all-wheel drive system does slightly hurt the fuel economy compared to the front-wheel drive model, but really not significantly. I don't think it is relevant for anybody who's willing to pay this much for a luxury sedan. Car weighs total about 4,350 pounds, so no, it is not exactly a lightweight. This is considered a full-size luxury sedan. This is Acura's current flagship sedan, for the record. Step inside. They call this leather interior seat coast. It's got perforated leather trim, a head-up display, the Acura navigation system with voice recognition, 12-way driver and front passenger seats, driver memory seat, heated front seats, push-button ignition, push-button shifter, which actually I kind of like having that push-button shifter. It's a kind of a neat touch. And tri-zone automatic climate control. Now, I will say this about every Acura, which is Honda's luxury division, the build quality is just absolutely outstanding here. Acura has built a very, very solid car. Everywhere we put your hand, you just feel the quality throughout. And I do respect Acura for paying attention to the fine details, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that competitively wise, this is just not a very, very competitive car against some very stiff competition. Look at the rear seats, though. Yeah, it's I'd say it's fairly spacious. There was enough leg and headroom for my passengers, all of which were at least 6 feet tall. Nobody really complained comfort-wise, but what they did sort of complain about is that they didn't feel like they were in a vehicle that weighs, or rather costs, over $60,000. Yeah, that is a very expensive price to pay when, like I keep mentioning, the competition, I'll get to that in a few minutes, it's just so damn good these days. Now, looking at this console and dashboard design here, when you first sit to look at it, you like it. It looks kind of sporty. It's not entirely plain vanilla. It could be more exciting, but the more I started to actually use it, I got to dislike it more and more. And again, it's because I've compared so many cars in this class and also not within its class, and you can just see that this dashboard design, it's dated. It's a little complicated to use, in my opinion. The infotainment screen here, it's nice, but it is definitely not the best in the business. Now, remember, Acura is competing against the likes of BMW, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, and all those automakers have these really, really good state-of-the-art infotainment and navigation systems, and this one is only so-so. Unfortunately for Acura, so-so does not cut it in this segment. And there you see the push-button transmission there, which I dig that. Yeah, you could have a shift lever. It does take up more space. But again, I like it when an automaker does take some unique design chances or technical chances. And in this case, I really did not mind not having a traditional gear shifter. The buttons were just fine. The steering wheel itself, leather wrapped, it feels nice. But again, this could easily be just any old steering wheel from any other Acura. It doesn't feel premium enough to me. And this navigation screen system here, it's, I don't know, it's too small for a car of this size. And just look at the layout of it. It looks 4 or 5 years old, and well, it kind of is. So if anyone from Acura is paying attention, I really think it's time for them to at least update the navigation and infotainment systems. Now, some other tech features this particular RLX came with is the Crow Premium audio system with 14 speakers, remote engine start, surround view camera system, heated steering wheel, which is always really nice, heated rear seats, ventilated front seats, parking sensors, power rear window sunshade, and a rear door sunshades as well. And as you can see, the standard infotainment system, yeah, it works fine, but it's not impressive. What is impressive? iDrive 5.0 from BMW. That is impressive. Now, even Cadillac CUE or Q system, sometimes people call it, I didn't love that, but I liked it more than this because it just felt more fresh, felt newer, and to me, that matters. What we also liked about the RLX is that at least it does come with not just dual zone, it does have tri-zone automatic climate control so that this way the rear seat passengers can control their own temperature. Again, quad zone would be even better, but we'll take the tri-zone with no problem. So how does this thing drive? I have to say, comfortable. But again, it's not at all sporty. Remember, this is a front-wheel drive-based platform. It is not rear-wheel drive-based. For example, the Mercedes-Benz E-Class and BMW 5 Series, those are all rear-wheel drive-based platforms, and you can feel it. They drive like large sports sedans, because they are. This is not. For an example, if you like the way the Buick LaCrosse drives, which is also front-wheel drive, maybe the Cadillac CTS, well, you're going to like the way the Acura RLX drives. It's kind of boring. It's a really comfortable cruiser, especially on the highways, but that's about it. But for some people, that's all they want, and I respect that. So let's talk some safety here. You have a lot of standard features: driver and front passenger airbags, side curtain airbags with rollover sensor, driver knee airbags, stability control, ABS brakes, electronic brake distribution, tire pressure monitoring system, blind spot information, adaptive cruise control, collision mitigation braking system, road departure mitigation, and lane keeping assistant system. So all the modern tech touches there. I do know Acura is starting to experiment with some semi-autonomous technology, so we'll probably start seeing that more in updated RLXs in the very near future. You also have a moonroof here, which is, it's nice to have, which is something you would expect in a car of this price and size. And there it is, the push-button transmission. I like it, like I keep saying. And that sport mode that you can put the car in, again, it's not very sporty. It's nice that Acura does offer the sport mode, but again, compare it to a BMW 5 Series and you'll understand very clearly what I am talking about here. All right, so what is some of that very specific competition? Well, I've mentioned it several times: the BMW 5 Series and Mercedes-Benz E-Class, Audi A6, and its four-door coupe twin, the A7, the Cadillac CTS. I would even like to toss in the brand new Lincoln Continental, the latest Jaguar XF. You have the Lexus GS, by the way, that's rear-wheel drive base, Infiniti Q70, the new Genesis G80, as well as the Kia K900. In my opinion, all those cars that I just listed there, I would take them over the Acura RLX. Now, kind of a funny story is how we at Carbuzz got this particular RLX is that we wrote an article called Straight to the Crusher, basically saying that the RLX is just not necessary. Well, Acura got a hold of that article, read it, and gave us this RLX for 2 weeks to drive, and they wanted us to have a second opinion. Well, I'm giving you that second opinion. I don't necessarily think it should go to the crusher right now, but again, it is not competitive against the competition. Does that make it a bad car? No. But again, when I got the pricing here, well, you be the judge. The base price for the front-wheel drive RLX is $54,450. This car here, because it's the Sport Hybrid with the super handling all-wheel drive, begins at $65,950. Now, there weren't a whole lot of extra options to add once you tack on the hybrid and the super handling all-wheel drive system, but could that combined with $920 destination and handling fee, grand total for this car was $66,870. Again, there are better ways for people in this segment to spend $67,000 or $70,000, whatever. And those ways are all of the cars I have just mentioned. Now, is it partially because this car dates back to 2013? I mean, that's when it first hit the market, but it was designed before that. Does that kind of make it out of date and offer Acura an excuse? Somewhat, yes. But Acura is in desperate need of a hit. It needs to get back to its roots, such as that original Acura Legend. And that is the car we've been clamoring for. And for some reason, Acura they just haven't quite done it. Even with some of their newer and smaller models like the TLX, they're good, but they're just not quite there. Now, and that's a big thing. That's a problem here, is that Lexus, Infiniti, they were sort of in a position that Acura is currently in. And to their credit, Lexus and Infiniti, they made bold moves to try to become more relevant in the luxury segment. And the results are starting to show. So what do I like here? Well, like I mentioned before, excellent build quality. Look at its trunk here. It's large, just lots of interior space, and it is comfortable to ride in long road trips. You can even get 3 passengers in the rear seat fairly comfortably. I wouldn't want to take a long road trip with them, but definitely 2 adults, 2 adult-sized men, 6 feet tall, will be very comfortable in the rear seat for the long haul. Now, what don't I like? Well, as you can probably guess, because I've been mentioning it throughout, there's absolutely zero what they call wow factor for a $65,000, $70,000 car. Even Lexus has managed to learn how to do this. Infiniti is quickly following suit as well. But the bottom line is it's not a proper flagship sedan for a luxury automaker that competes against some of the serious heavyweights from Germany, the US, and Japan. Acura, as well as Honda, can and must do better here. Now, again, going back to the exterior design here, a lot of people, and I'm one of them, have criticized Acura on that sort of chrome mustache grille design there. Yeah, it just doesn't work. Acura's newer models, such as the latest version of the MDX crossover, feature a new front grille design. But again, what I do like is those jewel LED headlights there. I think that's kind of a cool touch. And you can also look at it from the side view here. It's that you almost have to think that like early designs of this car, it looked better. It was a little bit more edgier. And then maybe once Acura's management started looking at it, they're like, you know what? Let's hold back. Let's kind of tone down some of the styling. We don't want to alienate our Acura RL buyers. Well, that's all fine and good, but you're not bringing in those former Acura legend buyers who jump shipped to so many other brands, probably even Audi for an example, long ago, and that's what Acura needs to do here. Now, kind of a fun fact for you is that in some overseas markets, Acura is not sold there. It's mainly a U.S. brand. In fact, the RLX is sold in those overseas markets as, wait for it, the Honda Legend. That's right. That means Honda, Acura's parent company, has not forgotten the Legend, and, well, I think they need to pass the memo down to Acura to make some improvements real fast here. But I'm out of time for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you have any more questions for me, just leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next unboxing review.